for music appreciation class. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, who's that?
What's up? Oh, let me get rid of my mask real quick. What's up,
Students,
Justin?
students, say hello to my good friend for many, many years, Mr. Chris Pounders. Round of applause.
Ah! What's up, everybody? What's up? Oh my gosh. Ugh.
Chris, Chris,
Yes.
say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the kids.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the kids. Nice to meet you guys, sort of. I will meet you while you're watching this, so hi.
So, Chris Pounders, and yes, that is his last name, right?
It's real.
That's his given name, Chris
Yeah,
Pounders.
yeah.
Chris and I played music together for an incredibly long time, longer than maybe some of your parents. We
Yeah.
started playing music in high school, and Chris is one of the only musicians that I still continue to play music with on a on a on a on a I don't know what you call it, weekly, monthly, yearly
Yeah,
basis.
right. Yeah, like still, yeah, still working with, still active. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's I remember sitting down with you. I can't remember what restaurant it was. We sat down and you had like dreads, really long dreads. And I'm just like, dang, this guy's really cool. It's just I was like, geez. Yeah, but I met you through your brother. Your brother Derek was sort of the one who connected us, which I thought was really cool. And I've always been a great friend of your brother's as well.
Yeah, Chris and I met in high school. He was in high school. I was just graduating, and we stayed connected and played music all throughout our entire career. And the type of music that we play is rock slash punk rock genre of music. So, Chris, what are some of your favorite bands growing up?
Yeah, okay, so, I mean, you know, uh, I started learning drums around 8 years old, and I hadn't really been listening to a lot of stuff at that point. So I think when I was around 8 or 9 years old, something in, between there up to about 14, just that period of time, I think it was all about what my dad was listening to, which was a lot of just classic sort of like, your classic rock, you know what I mean? Anywhere from Zeppelin to Beatles, to anything a little more alternative to like Pearl Jam, some 90s stuff. But yeah, my dad was, he grew up in the 70s, so, he was a really big 70s guy. So I think up until about 14 years old was when I was exposed to Green Day's Dookie album, and that's when things really took off for me. Up until that point, though, I was listening to local radio stations, like alternative stations, like, Justin, you might remember KOME 98.5. And they have like this top 10 caller vote that they did every night, and you would sort of see what everyone's like listening to and really into at the time. I just remember having my radio, my FM radio, and listening to a lot of that stuff. And at the time, you had bands like Garbage, you had like Smashing Pumpkins, you had Green Day, you had Rage Against the Machine, you had Prodigy, and then a lot of those other, like, you had like the sort of rise of like the 90s grunge thing, but you also had techno music, which was happening on the side with Fatboy Slim and all these other bands. So it was a really cool time, Nine Inch Nails. So I think that like I just really got into a lot of that stuff. I got into like Weezer. I got into like Third Eye Blind. Everclear was one I liked in elementary school for some reason. I liked No Doubt's Tragic Kingdom album. My friends were really into the Metallica album, the Black Album when it came out. Enter Sandman was like, obviously it was a little bit before my time, but when we started listening to it, when I was in elementary school listening to it, it was great. So I don't know, I was kind of all over, but I think the Green Day was the biggest one for me. And then with Green Day, opened up avenues like Ramones, Misfits, Rancid. And then I never really got too deep after that. I didn't get into the Dead Kennedys. I didn't really get into like Op Ivy. Even though I like Op Ivy, I just never really got into them. But yeah, so that's kind of where things started. It was like this mixture of classic rock and then sprinkled with the 90s, and that's kind of like the foundation to my love for music, really.
Yeah, and your love for music started out basically at home with your dad listening to music, listening to 70s classic rock,
He
and
was in
then
bands.
yeah, yeah, and that kind of like spun to the kind of music that you are inspired and play today, your own music. And when you listen to music that you create with your band, with our band Pounders and Love District, and then you also have solo music too that you create. It's a mixture of those, I would say the music that you listen to, like you were just saying,
Yeah, I
Rancid.
love yeah. I don't know, like, I think that, like, the inspiration to create sort of starts with this idea of, like, first you're kinda like, you hear something you like or you see something you like, and you're like, "Hey, I wanna do that too," and then maybe you have the second thought that, "Hey, I think I would do it a little differently," and it sort of, like, spins this sort of ball of inspiration and momentum where you're sort of, stepping into the shoes of the thing that excited you from the first time, but then you can kind of, like, move around the room on your own and see how your approach would be to their style, and that sort of creates, a lot of what we see in all these bands that are out there on the radio. They're inspired by the one that came before them that they really liked, that kind of thing.
And you talked a little bit about how music involves all different types of personalities and people. You got people that are introverts that don't want to be on stage. They can still be a part and create music behind the
Right.
scenes, right?
And
And
not
people
only
that
just
are
to be a part of it, but
extroverts too.
yeah, introverts love music. You know what I mean? It's not it's the that's like that's the weird thing is some artists that go on stage and perform for you, they hate it. They absolutely hate being on stage. They don't like being in front of all those people. The pressure, all of that stuff. They're very it's almost very selfless for them to be on stage and to provide that show for you because it's very hard for them. So you've got a lot of that too. You've got the people who will dance around and wear very, very crazy things like Elton John, and then you've got bands that just are very straightforward people and and will just play rock and roll as if they're in their own garage, like Jimmy Eat World. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And they don't have a lot of spectacle, and it's not about the spectacle. It's about just listening and being immersed in the music. And then sometimes the spectacle is really cool. So there's just so many ways it goes.
And so you started out playing drums first, I believe, right, Chris?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then you transitioned playing guitar, and then you got into recording and learning about technology behind it and learning about microphones and how you record a band and now how to produce a band, correct?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it started out with drums. I took lessons from a jazz teacher in the Bay Area. I'll just call him out. Wally Schnally. He's like a jazz legend. He's great. He has select few students that he works with. Anyways, I worked with him, but then after a couple years, I think like on my fourth year of lessons, it wasn't anything with the lessons. I just wanted more from music. The drums were one aspect of music, and I just was like, I need to do more. This isn't that's cool. I got that. What else is there? So I grabbed a guitar and a chord book, literally a giant book of chords, and I was like, all right, well, I don't. There's all these weird chords in here, but I'll find the ones that just have the one letter next to it, A, E, right? I'll just start with those. I started mapping out different ones and then putting them in different combinations so that my fingers could go to each chord no matter what chord I was on previously. And I just, for hours, would just keep switching and switching and switching until I felt really comfortable. Then I started writing my first songs. And so then this sort of opened up the next door. I mean, it's been a long, long, long journey. But yes, I've been recording on GarageBand since GarageBand ever came out. I first started there. I remember one summer I made a bunch of money working with my dad construction, and I literally spent like $1,500 as a kid on a Pro Tools interface so that I could record at home. Like that was what I spent my money on. Like you
And
know,
students, for those of you that might not know, GarageBand is a program that comes with some of like Apple products, for example.
it's
Any
free.
Apple products,
Yeah, it's on
yeah,
your phone,
has
your tablet.
GarageBand. Yep. And then Pro Tools is another software that people use to record instruments on your laptop or on your desktop computer. So just for
Yeah.
some of you that are out there that might not know how music transfers from live to Spotify, for example, or on your phone, it gets recorded onto a computer, and then that's where Chris, who's also a producer, comes in and kind of tweaks with things and mixes music, and kind of give us a background in what is a producer and what's a somebody that mixes music. What are all these jobs?
Yeah, it's interesting. Mixing and mastering are two different things, right? So, being a producer, you're not mastering it. You might know how to master as a producer, but usually the mastering is done by a separate person. Historically, every stage of making a song is done by different people, but as time has moved on and the competition it's become more of a one guy thing. But I would say that even the top artists are still using multiple people and teams because they can. But yeah, I think that there's writing the song, there's getting your lyrics, getting your chords, having a beginning, having an end. Finally, you have that. Then you're gonna record it. You would use a producer or an engineer. They can be two people or one person. That would be basically the producer is going to be the person who has the vision for the song and who's going to make all of the decisions that they believe will lead to the song doing well. Okay, and that's just like what's really important is that they're not worried about if what's in it, how much is in it, this and that. They're worried about how does the singer sound singing it? Is it in the right key for the singer? Is the song long enough? Does the chorus come in quick enough? Are all of our takes good? And everything in between. Okay, so and I think a producer can team up with people and with the band or with the artist, and it can be more collaborative. Sometimes it's not collaborative, depends on the producer, and the approach to it. You know what I mean? If you're doing a marching thing, the type of producer you would use or the situation would be different than like a solo artist going in with a producer. It would just be different experience. And then you've got the engineer who's actually working the board, who's actually taking in signal from the artist. That could be the producer as well. They could be doing both. That does happen a lot. But if it's two different people, that's cool too. You've got more ears. So you got one guy who's basically making sure that all the stuff that you're recording is coming in properly so that the guy who's mixing or producing after him has everything that they need and it sounds fantastic. And then there's the mastering stage. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work to be a producer because you have to have an understanding of multiple instruments when you're being a producer. So you're getting vocals, you're getting bass, you're getting drums. And then if the person says, hey, I'm hiring you as my producer, I want this to sound just like this song on the radio right now. That's what I'm going for. I'm going for that demographic, that audience. It's like, okay, cool. So then it's your responsibility as a producer to make that happen, right?
Yep,
Because they don't
yep.
know how. And that's why they're at coming to you. So-
And you know what? We're gonna have some fun right now because I'm gonna produce you right now to
ah!
play. Yes, that's right. I'm gonna produce you to play a really, really fun kid song that's gonna be awesome.
A kid
And
song.
yeah, it's gonna be super
Okay.
fun. And so what we're doing, Chris has no idea what he is going to be playing right now because we are doing improvisation. Chris, what's an improvisation mean?
To improvise, I would say simply just to make something up on the spot, unprepared.
I like
Yeah,
it. I
yeah.
like it. Now, students, don't go into a test and improv the test. You got to study your test before. Now, Chris has been studying for years, playing guitar, playing the drums, singing, even dabbling in a little bit of piano as well. And right now, I'm going to produce Chris. He's going to play a kid song. This is going to be a kid song that is all about eating vegetables. So,
Oh,
so
eating
Chris is going to
vegetables.
play a really fun, upbeat kid song. And when I say upbeat, I'm thinking like more of kind of like ska. Ska is a kind of another style of music that has a nice, fun upbeat, makes you kind of want to move and bob your head. So Chris is going to play a song about eating vegetables in that's inspired by ska music. So tell us what's going through your head right now as a songwriter, as a musician.
Okay, so as a songwriter, as a musician, okay, so first off, I'm thinking what's gonna be my chord progression on the guitar, because that's gonna give me the feel of the energy and the feel. And so I'm trying to think right now what I'm gonna play. You said ska, so I'm like, okay, cool, ska. Um, Now with ska, then I have to decide. I'm just deciding, do I want four chords or two chords? Um, and then I'm thinking about where I'm gonna move with the guitar, and then I'm thinking what's a good key for me? And then I'm also thinking, what the heck am I gonna say here? So
That's a that is a lot to think about
yeah.
as a singer
Yeah.
songwriter, and that's why I play the drums is because all I got to think about is the tempo and where my hands are going. I don't have to think
Exactly,
about the.
exactly.
I mean, the feel and the rhythm of the song. You can make a really fast rock song on the drums, or you can make a slow song on the drums.
Yeah.
Really, kind of depends. And but as a singer songwriter that Chris is talking about, he's kind of going through all those emotions. And when he says chords, you'll hear the different sounds and tones of guitar. So, and as you can see in the background, Chris is coming to you live from a music studio. This is School of Rock San Jose, which
Yes.
is where Chris teaches. So
Yes.
Chris teaches a variety of lessons for kids and adults, and gets to play music pretty much every single day, and it's super fun. So as you can see here, Chris has what's called an acoustic guitar, and acoustic guitar has a hollow body on it, and the body is basically that brown part of the guitar. And then in the back of him, you'll see some drums and a bunch of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a drum set. I normally teach drum lessons online like this, so um, nice to have them right there. Just spin around. But yeah, cool guys. All right, so vegetables. Well, hmm. Okay, so this is gonna be improv. Okay, improv is another way of saying like a freestyle. You know what I mean? It's you don't want to have too much ready because if you think about it too much, then it might be worse than just saying a couple things on the go. All right, so I'm gonna start off here. Oh man.
And this is Chris. You don't have to. I don't want you to do a whole song. I just want you to. I just maybe verse chorus. That's it. That's it. Super simple. So those are chords, boys and girls, that Chris is playing. Chords on the guitar, and he's trying to move his fingers around, get him in the right spot for it to sound good.
So I'm gonna use the song. Sometimes I'll use a song as an inspiration, as like a template, as an idea template. So I'm gonna use "Fear the Reaper" is "Don't Fear the Reaper" is like my feel. So here we go. So "Don't Fear the Reaper" is like this. Okay, I'm not gonna do that, but I'm gonna do something inspired by that. So we're gonna do Yeah, you know I like it when my mommy gives me vegetables in the morning at breakfast and at lunch. So I don't care what she gives me, I'll eat it all. Yeah, my friends look at me like I'm crazy because I eat it all. I tell them that it's okay if you want to be with me. I'm not your friend, I'll be anything you want, but I'll eat vegetables every day. Yeah, vegetables every day. There it is. Oh my god.
Dude, that was
This
good.
is gonna haunt me one day.
I think you just wrote the next kids jingle for a vegetable company. I don't know what a veggie company is out there.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I do like vegetables for the record. I try and eat as much as I can. It's good. It's good. You should do it.
And Chris had no idea what I was gonna say. I mean, I could have said Disney songs or I don't know, eating candy or
I
something
think
like
my
that.
mistake was too fast of a tempo. So I was a little nervous. Too fast of a tempo. I should have slowed it down.
That was a really fast punk.
More reggae. I should have got more reggae.
Yeah, that's what you call ska punk, a mix of ska and punk rock music, which I love. But yeah, no, very cool. I thought you did a great job. I think you did.
Thanks.
Students, give a round of applause.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Another fun fact I wanted to share with y'all about Chris is that he also was in a show called Stomp.
Yes.
Stomp in Las Vegas, right?
Yes. Yes, I was in a show called Stomp. Well, the show is called Stomp Out Loud. There is a DVD called Stomp Out Loud that you can pay-per-view somewhere, probably. But yeah, I was part of a cast of Stomp. Stomp is something that is kind of going away a little bit, but it had its time. But it's like this very cool live. It was on Broadway. So imagine Broadway, and then imagine a bunch of people kind of coming out of an alleyway, and the stage that they're on is full of almost like a junkyard, and they're coming out with all these different instruments, and they're playing a rhythm or a song that makes you smile, but it's out of these ordinary objects, and you just can't really believe what you're seeing and hearing. There's some comedy in it. It's actually, yeah, I miss it. It's a great show. I wish it was still around, but the creator and the leader, he's actually a punk rock he's like a punk rocker at heart, and really what that means, you guys, is he's not really crazy about selling out. He's not really crazy about rebranding Stomp and doing all this. He just kind of, if people want it, they can see it.
And also, lastly, Chris was also on a show that you might
Thank
have
you.
heard of called X Factor.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, you were there with me. Yeah, that was a really crazy time. So I was on X Factor briefly. Actually, that's a really cool, it's a fond memory of mine. I mean, I basically went to the Cow Palace in San Francisco, cattle call, just hundreds and I don't want to say hundreds of thousands, but hundreds of people, thousands of people, all auditioning. I used Just Like Heaven by The Cure, and then oh gosh, there was a Beatles song that I chose, and I did pretty well. I got all the way to the audition in front of Simon, Brittany, Demi Lovato, and L.A. Reid. I think that's his name, L.A. Reid. Yeah, and so yeah, that was kind of crazy, man. That was a crazy moment. Before I had even come out on stage, they weren't even sure if they were gonna have time for me. And then on top of that, I was sitting next to Gene Simmons from the band Kiss, and we were just talking about all kinds of shenanigans, which is actually one of my favorite parts about it. Obviously, it was really cool to get yelled at by Britney Spears and Demi Lovato and L.A. Reid. This is interesting, but it was also like a really humiliating experience in a weird way, and it was everything. It was so exciting. It was humiliating. It was once in a lifetime thing, and I wish I'd done better, but that was just the way it went.
And I wanted you to bring up that story because I want the kids to know that even if one door closes or hundreds of door closes in regards to your arts or your passion for something or whatever it might be, or you don't do good on a test, or you're struggling in this subject, don't give up. You still keep on going. Chris is still doing music. He didn't,
Yeah.
go on that stage, be laughed at, to go back home and to cry about it. He decided to, you know what, I'm going to still perfect my craft. Now he's working at School of Rock here in San Jose and educating kids and motivating kids and inspiring kids, just like yourself out there. So, boys and girls, would you give Chris Pounders a round of applause for sharing his love and experience with us today?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I encourage all of you to be yourself and have fun doing that. I came across a cool quote this past week, and the quote is like, a lot of you guys are young, right? So a lot of you guys don't have jobs yet, but you're thinking about jobs maybe, and you're thinking about what you want to do for the rest of your life. But we do have a job, even if we don't have jobs. And every day, our job is to make ourselves. And we must do it well. We must do it well. So every day, our job is to be the best version of ourselves, whatever
Woo!
we're doing.
That's good. That's fire right there.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the quote that I heard. Okay. This is a great quote. It says, every day you are making yourself, and we must do that well. That
I
is our
love that.
job.
I love that.
Yeah. It's just, even no matter where you're at in life, if you're struggling, your job is to pick yourself up and get it figured out.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us here today. And students, y'all have a great week, and I will see you next week. Say bye to
Later, guys.
Chris.
Bye.